sagittal section through Hoof T, and sagittal means absolutely straight through the middle. Although, to be fair, this isn't quite through the middle. You can see, look, I've gone in a bit here and I've gone out a bit there. And this was actually quite a hard hoof for me to cut, and the reason is it was quite big and quite a strong hoof, and I did have difficulty getting it through the saw. However, I think you're going to see all what you need to see in this section, even if it's not absolutely perfectly halfway. So let's first of all start on the frog, that thick, deep, luscious frog that we saw, and well, I gushed about it so many times. I thought it was amazing. And there it is on the bottom. Can you see how wide it is? I mean, it's just huge. So this is just half the frog here, and here is the bottom of the frog there, where the frog actually hits the ground, the big thick cushioning area through there. So this is the back of the frog, and here's the frog apex there. Now, looking at this side here, first of all, I can see that the frog is still quite luscious and still quite deep through here. And even at the apex of the toe, and normally in a lot of the samples that I've seen, at the toe apex, the frog has actually been quite small at this point. But look how deep it goes. I mean, this is actually incredibly wide. I mean, I'm still amazed at how beautiful this frog is and how thick it is. We talked about this wall, this hoof wall was bending round, and I thought that I could see that the coffin bone was also curving round as well. Now, you do have a bit of a curve in coffin bones, and I think that they are a little bit different, the back feet compared to the front feet. And if you have a look at this bone here, there is a little bit of a curve, but it doesn't seem to be, to me, quite as curved as this particular one. And I'm not quite sure whether this alignment of these three bones is correct. Now, this specimen is still frozen, so these bones, although you see all these big gaps through here, it wouldn't be like this in real life. We can see a little hole here, which is where a blood vessel would go, and I can actually put my probe in there quite deep. And can you see the actual walls of the blood vessel quite nicely there? Now, other points to note about this particular sample is, although it had a really big luscious frog, the digital cushion isn't particularly big and it isn't particularly luscious. And I base that on all of the samples that I've looked at. I've seen digital cushions which are much thicker than this in other samples. And so I was a little bit disappointed to see that this was actually not as fat as I hoped. But we know that this particular horse was put to sleep due to colic and never had any foot problems. But this horse was shod for a good part of the year and had been unshod for about 16 weeks prior to being put to sleep. So I don't know whether shoeing has actually had any effect on this foot or not. I haven't looked at enough samples really to make any conclusions. But all I can say, based on other samples that I've seen and based on the literature, this frog is a pretty good frog. It's a pretty thick, nice thick frog. Digital cushion is not so good. There's a reasonable amount of fibro cartilage through there, which is good, but the digital cushion itself isn't particularly thick, so it's not going to be doing a particularly brilliant job. And the sole is not particularly thick either. I would have expected the sole to have been at least a centimetre thick, and it's not. There is a nice thick hoof wall all the way down. I mean, this is beautifully thick, and this is probably a good centimetre in thickness through there, and there doesn't seem to be any laminitis through there or separation of the P3 with the hoof wall. So that's a very quick overview of what I'm seeing in this sagittal section for Hoof T, and I hope you enjoyed that. And if you're enjoying watching my videos and you want to see the full size videos, please go over to my Patreon page and consider supporting me for $5 a month, and there you'll get to see all my videos, all the full length videos, and you'll be supporting a really good cause so that I can produce more videos for you, collect more hooves and have better quality equipment and service you all better. Thank you.